an emperor who declared himself a god-replaced sacred statue heads with his own face, declared war on the ocean, forced soldiers to stab the waves, allegedly tried to put his horse in government, and there was plenty more madness to come. All of this madness belongs to one name, Emperor Caligula. Born on August 31, 12, this guy possessed a stupidly long birth name that just reeked of power. Gaius, Julius Caesar, Augustus, Germanicus, a brilliant general and absolute national superstar, and basically the hero of all Rome at the time. His mom was the granddaughter of the very first emperor, Augustus the Great, but if his real name was Gaius. Where the heck did the name Caligula come from? Well, here's the story. When he was just 2 or 3 years old, his dad, Germanicus, thought bringing his toddler along on bloody military campaigns in Germany was a fantastic idea, just typical ancient parenting stuff. His mom even designed a miniature soldier outfit for him, complete with little armor and tiny military boots. Caligulae, hardened, battle-scarred Roman legionaries saw him and were like, oh. So they gave him the nickname Caligula, which translates to little boot. Gaius absolutely hated this nickname when he grew up. I mean, imagine it. You go on to become one of the most notorious tyrants in human history, and everyone's just calling you Little Boot. However, Little Boot's peaceful childhood ended pretty early in 1980. Germanicus suddenly fell terribly ill and died at the age of 33, taking to his grave the strong belief that he had been poisoned. It was him he did this in the prime. Suspect behind it all was none other than Emperor Tiberius, his uncle and adoptive father, who always saw Germanicus's massive popularity as a huge thorn in his side, and more importantly was terrified of him stealing the throne. After his dad's death, Caligula and his mom moved back to Rome. And this is where everything switched to survival mode. His mom, Agrippina, was an ambitious woman and didn't even bother to hide it. As for Tiberius, he was a paranoid old guy who constantly thought someone was out to steal his throne. He banned Agrippina from remarrying, terrified that it would just fuel her personal ambitions and create another threat against him. Then, using various excuses, he banished and exiled Agrippina, along with Caligula's 2 older brothers, Nero and Drusus. Caligula just got bounced around. First, he was sent off to live with his great-grandmother Livia. Tiberius's mom, she died 2 years later. So Caligula was transferred over to live with his grandmother Antonia. He and his little sisters were basically just high-end hostages for Tiberius, kept under 24/7 surveillance. I need to take a bath. Let us bath with you in 31 AD. Caligula's older brother Nero died while in exile. Caligula was then handed over to the direct care of Tiberius at the Villa Jovis on the island of Capri, living under the special care of the exact guy who destroyed his entire family. Caligula completely buried his burning resentment and went into absolute survival mode. He put on an Oscar-worthy performance, playing the role of the obedient, harmless, and total kiss-ass nephew. His patience and method acting were so top-tier that a Roman historian later dropped this legendary quote about him during this period: "Never was there a better slave nor a worse master." During this time, Caligula also cozied up to Macro, Tiberius's praetorian prefect. Macro naturally became an incredibly solid shield of protection for him. How my daddy, oh my little boot. To ease Tiberius's paranoia, Macro constantly painted Caligula as friendly, obedient, and totally devoted to Tiberius's grandson, Tiberius Gemellus. In 33 AD, Caligula's mom and his brother Drusus both died while still in exile. That same year, Tiberius arranged a marriage between Caligula and Junia Claudia, the daughter of Marcus Junius Silanus, one of Tiberius's most influential allies in the Senate. Caligula and Junior had a baby, who then vanished just a few minutes later, right along with his wife. In 35 AD, Tiberius named Caligula as joint heir alongside his grandson Gemellus, who was 7 years younger than Caligula and hadn't even reached adulthood yet. At the time, Tiberius was super confident in his health and fully expected to stick around until Gemellus reached adulthood. Actually, he didn't quite make it that long. Tiberius died on March 1637 AD from what was considered natural causes. Natural in the sense that Caligula, with a little assist from Macro, allegedly shoved a pillow over his face and smothered him to death. Maybe so, since none of this is clearly detailed. And its authenticity isn't super high, so. Caligula became the Roman emperor at the age of 25. With the total agreement of the three estates, the Senate, the equestrians, and the common people. Yes, it's my time. The Roman public went absolutely wild celebrating. They despised Tiberius's cruelty so much that they put all their faith in Caligula, the son of their great hero Germanicus from back in the day. Those first 6 months were basically considered the honeymoon phase of Rome. Let's do a quick rundown of what Caligula actually did during his good emperor phase. Scrapped the treason trials, pardoned and recalled exiles, abolished a bunch of unreasonable taxes, made the empire's budget completely transparent, handed out massive cash bonuses to the military and the Praetorian Guard through massive public games, gladiator matches, and festivals, paid out financial compensation to citizens affected by fires, kicked off the construction of 2 epic aqueducts, the Aqua Claudia and the Anio Novus, finished the Temple of Augustus, restored and rebuilt the Theater of Pompey. It sounds like Caligula was a pretty solid emperor, with a tragic past just waiting to be healed, right? Oh, hell no. None of that could overshadow the sheer madness of his for the rest of his reign. Around mid-October of 37 AD, Caligula fell seriously ill from an unknown cause, and was hovering near death for about a month. This is widely considered the breaking point where his mind completely snapped, kicking off a reign of absolute lunacy. Even though he survived, he morphed into a completely different person. Paranoid, brutal, and totally unhinged. His paranoia made him see enemies everywhere. The first ones in his crosshairs were his father-in-law and his young cousin Tiberius Gemellus. The guy Emperor Tiberius had named as co-heir in his will. Naturally, Caligula also handled that will, using a very clever little legal loophole. Next up was the guy who literally helped carry him to the throne, Macro, the powerful commander of the Praetorian Guard. Caligula forced Macro to commit suicide. But killing wasn't enough. Caligula's narcissism started hitting max level. He declared that he wasn't just a representative of the gods, but a living god himself. To prove it, Caligula ordered the decapitation of a bunch of the greatest Roman statues, even the supreme god Jupiter, and slapped his own face on them instead. His passion for cosplay was also intensely strong. Caligula would frequently strut around in front of the Senate dressed as Hercules, Mercury, and sometimes even the goddess Venus, and he demanded that the Senate worship him. Oh, feast your eyes on my massive boobs. The absolute peak of pointless spending has to be the Bay of Buy a Pontoon Bridge project. One day, while deep in flashbacks of the past, a face appeared and said Caligula had no more chance of becoming emperor than of riding a horse across the Bay of Buy. That was one of Emperor Tiberius's fortune tellers. Just to prove an old prophecy wrong, Caligula requisitioned thousands of grain ships, chained them together into a bridge over 3 miles long, covered it in dirt, and then rode his horse back and forth across it multiple times. At top speed, this stunt brought zero military or economic benefits. All it did was drain the treasury and cause a temporary famine due to the shortage of grain transport ships during a military campaign to invade Britannia in 40 AD. While standing before the English Channel for some reason, maybe the soldiers were scared of the water or straight up mutiny, Caligula gave the most insane order in military history. He ordered his entire battle-hardened Roman legion to line up on the beach and declared war on Neptune, the god of the sea, following his orders. The soldiers had to draw their swords and frantically stab the water and use catapults to attack the waves. After winning the battle, he made his troops collect thousands of seashells to bring back to Rome, declaring them spoils of the sea. But if you're asking what was the big just slap in the face Caligula gave to the Roman elite, it's the story of Insatiatus, his beloved racehorse. Caligula spoiled this horse more than any government official. He built him a gorgeous marble stable, gave him a rare ivory manger, and decked him out in collars encrusted with precious stones. Incitatus was a regular VIP guest. At the most luxurious imperial banquets, even crazier. Caligula publicly announced his intention to make this horse a consul, the highest political office possible. Many historians argue that this wasn't necessarily the act of a madman, but rather a savage troll move meant to humiliate the Senate. Caligula was basically saying, you guys are so useless and cowardly that my horse could do a better job than you. There were even wild rumors going around. People claimed he was having incestuous relationships with his own sisters. On January 24, 41, in an underground palace corridor while attending a festival, Caligula was assassinated by his very own Praetorian Guard. Led by Cassius Chaerea, he died after taking over 30 stab wounds from the exact people whose job it was to protect him today. Historians believe that most of the craziest allegations about Caligula were wildly exaggerated, twisted, or just straight up fabricated. Some modern sources suggest that underlying medical conditions might explain certain aspects of his behavior and appearance. These include mania, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, or encephalitis.